is Todd Bright. Welcome to All in Gestures, which is a workshop, by the way, where we draw stuff. This is our feedback and Q&A session. We call this Redline Live. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, welcome, welcome. Yeah, this is a Q&A as well. So fire off your Q&A as we go through some drawings from some of our members. Yeah, Mr. Matt, I see you in the chat. Welcome in, man. So for those of you who are kind of new to this, we do a gesture drawing workshop live every Saturday, or you can catch the recording if you're a member, or if you even sign up for a single. All right, here we go. All right. So, oh, hey, Dory. I see you in there. Hola. Nice. Okay. So we have a few artists today. We're going to have 3 artists today. We have Luke, Corey, and Dory. We're going to be doing a handful in case you don't see some of your themes here, guys. We'll make up for that later. All right, Mr. Corey, here we go. Some of your last submissions came in a little low res, so go ahead and resend those, or at least going forward. Okay, I'll do high res stuff, but yeah. Hello, Mr. Matt. I see you in the chat. This was Albert Einstein. We did him several weeks ago. Maybe zeroing in this guy. He's like checking his time. These other guys, I don't know. I like him. I think you have a nice attitude here with this guy. I was gonna suggest, as far as readability goes, I mean, this is just a little detail, Corey, but just a silhouette thing. For the most part, like if I were to block him in, so Albert Einstein, he's got crazy hair, and if I were to block him in, if I were to shade him in and block him in solid as just a silhouette. Is this? There we go. Sorry. You just kind of see the forearm here, but you're not really getting that he's looking at his watch. And for something that's such a quick read, as a drawing, I might go ahead and bring that arm out. I like his belly here. Your proportions look great. I might have that shirt come down a little bit, but yeah, I just might tweak his arms a little bit. I might bring this hand out away from his body. Maybe even drop that forearm lower. Let's see, I'm gonna try something here, bud. Hang on. There we go. And bring that hand like away from his body, okay? So if that's his watch, that little dark blob there. I may try to put that watch in that little window here. I don't want to go too crazy, but there's like this little negative space here. There's his watch. This is his hand, forearm, elbow. That's an elbow. And shoulders up here, that kind of thing. So I may put that watch inside this negative space here. So this little X represents negative space. And I'm just going to shade in our guy here. But I might do that way. And I love the head angle, you know, that you got. Very cool. I love I think we even talked about this, if I remember correctly, in that workshop. There's this great scene in Jungle Book and Frank and Ollie documentary. They talk about it. And he's talking about Baloo, and he was like trying to think. He was like, "How can I do like?" It's like, you know, is he rubbing his hands? I did that already, or whatever. But he had this great move where he rubbed the back of his neck. He's like all stressed out, like, "Ah, man," you know, about telling Mowgli something. And he did this thing where he drug it down. But anyway, all that to say, I love that you have that in there. Maybe our model did that, but I almost want to do the same thing maybe and just bring it away from, I like to see the pose, I think, with the model with that. It's a subtle thing, but I might bring that forearm out as well. So all that to say is a very long-winded way of saying check your silhouettes, all of that, okay? So yeah, just bringing that wristwatch out. You're almost making a statement to the audience. Hey, look over here, and being really, you know, obvious about it. Okay, so yeah, just play around with silhouettes. That's always a good plus thing to do. Chun-Li, this was another really fun theme. So this is still Corey. Yeah, let's see. What do we got? We got some action poses here. Yeah. She did some pretty fun stuff. The whole class was just like really great. Great costume. The model was good. She gave us a lot to work with. I feel like I want to push a little drama here, dude. I'm gonna pick on this one here. I feel like in this pose, the proportions look good. I love the straight of the leg. You got all that, but I'm wondering, I think we could push it a little further, okay? Like she's a martial artist, and I feel like we can get a little bit more of a good, you know, not only that is she a martial artist, but she's a cartoon character, basically, you know, like you could really exaggerate her, you know. I want to get this, I think we could bend her a little bit more pushing of this poses, you know, like the models can only do so much. Sometimes you get a really flexible model who maybe specializes in martial arts or dance, you know, who can really do some crazy things in a freeze frame. But for the most part, it's like they'll get into a pose, but it's up to us to, you know, make it entertaining. So I almost want to, let's see, just push it a little bit, get that energy and that beautiful stretch there in her leg. Oh, yeah. You know, so she's basically like, if you think about it, she's kind of like, you know, like, come on, man. Like this is like her ready pose before, you know, before the fight begins here. Or maybe she got hit and she slides back, one of those, you know what I mean? Fun hair buns. What a fun costume, man. That was a great costume. Can't believe we actually did that theme. And it eluded us for so long. Let's see here. All right, I'm just kind of noodling here a little bit, but push that energy. You know what I mean? It's like giving that energy from her toes all the way up through her head. You know, like it's like that big swoosh. Okay. All right, very cool. Thank you for submitting your work, sir. I'm gonna move that over here, and yeah, what's next? All right, it's like a bow pose kind of thing. Let's see here. That's a tough one. I think, you know, I'll keep this quick, but the I feel like a similar idea. Just watching that silhouette, I think pretty solid pose. I love the shapes you got in there and with the costume. And let's see here. I'm wondering if we could bring that elbow out here a little bit. Again, just bringing out that that bow pose that you do, like the. It's a very square, like things are squared off, like when you do it yourself, like your shoulders are dropped a little bit, your arms are like there's a box happening, you know. And I know we're on a side view here, but when you think about that, so I think it's justifiable to pull this out a little further from her body to see if we can get that to work. Again, you know, just working on that readability part. Okay. Yeah, I kind of wonder if we should have a little negative space there between her chest and her arms. Because of the angle here, it's kind of hard to do that, but I feel like maybe we can get a little negative space there. I'm going to point an arrow to it, so I'm going to put the X. So all that to say, in that little space, you know, it's kind of like another note in this arena. It's like really considering negative space in a drawing could be the solution to a lot of your drawing problems. I don't mean just you, but I mean like happens to me a lot at work. It's like I'm trying to wrestle through a pose because it has to be just right. Something's not reading. And I'm like, oh yeah, what about the negative space, you know? So anyway, there you go. That's all I got. Thank you, sir. So who's next? Dory. Dory, I see you have a question there in the chat. Okay, cool. Also some Chun-Li poses. Dude, I love this one. I love the charcoal thing you got going on. Yes! I noticed in the Discord server, you submitted some drawings. You had these charcoal ones and you had a few digital, and I just think there's something good going on with you working in charcoal. All right, but before I just start going off, I'm gonna, on the drawing stuff, I'm gonna look at your question here. Okay, it says, I actually have a question today. Todd, I have trouble drawing the head in relation to the hands. Like today, when the character is blowing a whistle or calling out to someone, I struggle with getting the tilt proportions correct. Any tips to get ahead of that? Well, let's see if any of these drawings relate to that question. I saw in your submission that you wanted me to take a look at this elbow pose and this pose. This is like a similar situation here, I think, to her. I guess she's putting on her wrist guards in here. What I'm going to say about this drawing, and I'll try to think of the answer to your question. Very similar silhouette seems to be a thing today. All right, here we go. So I like the roundness of her back. I think she's putting on her wrist guards, or whatever you call those spiky things. I almost wonder if we should like bend her back the other way, like she's getting ready for battle, kind of, you know, but you have this bend in her back. Let's try to get that to work, because I do like the sketch you have is really nice. So again, what I might do is just clear the body here a little bit, because his hands situation is very important. That's the whole business here, right? So I was just gonna say, just clear it away from her body. I can see you have some negative space in there between her chest and what's going on there with the body, the arms. I feel like we could do a little bit more. You know, you could do what she's doing in your sketch. It's just a suggestion, but you have her looking off, like maybe she's sizing up her opponent, you know, and you're doing that kind of a thing. But another thing maybe worth exploring, because I do like what you did with her head. In order to sell it more, you could even try, she's looking down at what she's doing. And I might should have done this earlier, but I might get her legs involved here, lead the eye a little bit, so she has like her boots on or whatever. But to get this kind of feeling where it's kind of going up and then, you know, over. So it's like getting the whole body to give a little bit of a leading the eye kind of vibe, you know? So yeah, that's all. More negative space there. Again, silhouette, all those good things. All right, moving on. And as far as today goes, the blowing of the whistle thing, since we're talking about stuff like that, let's see if I can find that drawing. There it is. But as far as I think it's a very similar situation that we just talked about, like really having a strong silhouette. Like even now, I just backed up my own hand instead of just like stuff overlapping each other. What the heck's going on? It's like move things out. Okay, maybe I pull the whistle a little bit away in my drawing. Maybe I really have her hold it so her hand is really obvious that she's holding something. Pinky up. I think your question had to do with how do you get those two things to work together, basically. And sometimes I think it's a lot of comparing, because obviously the most important thing about this drawing is this area here. And all this stuff is kind of, whatever. I don't have to focus on her socks and her foot was up like that. Does this read here? You know, and maybe Kelly's holding it like this, you know, but you may, as a drawing, need to pull it out a little bit and give her, like I could have probably even pulled this out even more. Or she's holding it with like her fingertips. So she has a whistle in her hand there. Her arm will have to be not as high if I'm doing that. Maybe I need to lower it because physically you can't really a little weird, you know, so maybe I'd have to sacrifice the elbow raise that she was doing. Because the most important thing is, what is she doing right here? I did a drawing this week of a character at work, and it just, something looked really weird. It's something really off. And I had realized, like, this character was holding onto a surface, and I realized that in my idea sketch, I had the hand turned this way, but the elbow is naturally going to come in, you know? It's just the way this relationship works, right? And so I really wanted that elbow out though, and that was a bigger importance to, in my mind anyway, of the silhouette of what I was trying to accomplish in the whole pose. I wanted that elbow out because that elbow is going to lead down to here, and this is where I wanted my focus to be in this particular situation. So I had to change my thinking and change that hand just to make it work, right? Because this was more important to me. And so it's like, if this is more important to you, like this hand pose, then because the whistle needs to read as a whistle, then you might have to change the arm around. And that's okay. That's a good thing. Oh, look. So I dropped it. I think it's worth diving into. But I dropped it down, and all of a sudden, look, I have this negative space right here. And so now the whistle has a spot. She's obviously blowing on something and made her cheeks come out. She's not token. She's blowing. Oh, yeah, and I could have, like, the little strings, you know, to the whistle. Yeah. So all that to say, sometimes a solution will present some really positive things. To me, like this negative space, positive, okay, good, that reads even more, awesome. So if I shade it in, you know. When the hand and the head is relating, to go back to your question, you have to compare a lot. It's like, okay, I'm drawing this and this, and you have to kind of look around in your drawing and move around, you know, just to get that relationship to work. So anyway, kind of fun to talk about. Great question. Really great. Yeah, all right, moving on. One more. Mr. Dude. Mr. Luke. All right, dude. Golly. Trying to remember this pose. Really good attitude in your drawings here, man. I love it. I think I want to start seeing a little bit more. This is just a progression thing, I think, as you keep growing. You're definitely growing. I'm trying to think what this pose was. Maybe this was early in the class. This one on the left here. So I think this is part of the series of the drawings where he was Einstein was teaching a class or lecturing, and I think we could do a little bit. This is the theme of the day, a little bit of a silhouette more. Not that everything needs to be humongous and broad, but I feel like, you know, just like he's pleading his case. You know, I like where his book is. We have that, but he's just kind of like, well, I almost want to have that broader, away from his body feeling. So I'm just tweaking, man, just pushing a little bit. So Dory, don't apologize for your question. You didn't make me go on a tangent. This is what we're doing here, man. Great question, but that's why we're here, figuring this stuff out together. Book-wise, you know, I might do something to make the book readable. Again, use that valuable negative space there to put a book in it. Little book corner, maybe. Okay. And I'd love to see a little bit more drawing with anatomy. Not that you have to draw his bones because he's wearing pants, but, you know, indicate the knee, maybe some folds, you know, just really trying to get some of those shapes. I think the simple outlines are a little, and the reason is not just because it's neat, but talked a lot about in today's workshop about drawing form. Somebody had a great question in the workshop about that, and so we talked a little about form and really drawing in 3 dimensions, you know, some pockets, maybe, you know, like as we approach a drawing, you know, thinking about approaching your work as a sculpture. Yeah, so I've just little tweaks, just pushing that acting just a little bit. Okay, all right, moving on. We have time for 1 or 2 more here. I like this reclining pose, man. I think you did a great job on that. I really like it. I was thinking one thing about it. I know we had a very fit model. Mr. Ralph was our Einstein. And but just pushing that form a little bit. We talked about him having a little bit of a belly, but you know, as Einstein. And just to get him to, I mean, I think what you did works with his lean, but I almost wanted to get him settled a little bit more, like give a little bit of a sag to that torso because of the gravity thing. If this is a torso bean, right? Just that little bend there in the back, I think it'll get a little bit of that feeling of weight and gravity, a little bit of a belly maybe. But overall, a really nice read on this drawing, okay? But yeah, that's it. I think that's all I got, man. I know we have some submissions for this week's work, but we're gonna hold off until next week and spread out the love. Check in this chat one more time if there's any other questions or anything. Let's see. Oh, there is. It says Todd got an easier question. What kind of newsprint are you using? Smooth or rough? Smooth. Yeah, it's great. Let's see. It's called. Here we go. This is what I'm using. Hold on. I got a pad right here. Oof, it's humongous. I don't know what I'd do without my local Sam Flax art place because they carry it. I don't know if I found this online yet to order, but it's what is it called? Jack Richardson's yeah, there it is. Jack Richardson's newsprint. This is humongous. It says it's rough, I think, but it is not rough. It is smooth and it is awesome. Charcoal takes really well to it. I love it. The rough paper, I just hate it. I don't even bother. Like if they ran out, I would just do, you know, like Sharpie drawings or something instead. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. You guys have a great week. Yeah. The theme next week, you're gonna have to wait and see. And yeah, but you guys get out and draw in the wild, and take your sketchbook with you. Happy summer, and we will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for hanging out in the chat today, guys. All right. Bye.